We're going to focus on medical tonight because we have some reports about metal particulates being found in Moderna vaccines, and Moderna actually released a statement themselves. And then we have Pfizer Recall. So we have a Moderna recall, we have a Pfizer recall, and then we have some other past recalls that I just kind of want to go over with Johnson & Johnson and Bayer, things that happened recently too. And then we're going to go into the how efficient are these vaccinations, because apparently it depends in different places. Like Israel, for instance, it's only having a 39% effective rate of actually doing anything. So let's just start off right here. So Japan suspends 1.6 million doses of Moderna. It's actually 1.63. We're going to go over that in this report right here. Due to contamination of metal particulates that are magnetic. So it's really interesting because that kind of seems to coincide with some of the stuff that people were saying online. But this is a reputable source. This is Epoch Times, and I'm going to leave all the links down below for everyone to check it out themselves, and just making sure I was recording. To check it out themselves. Everything that I go over is going to be down below, and it's really important people pay attention to what's going on here. So, Japan announced on August 26th that it's suspending the use of about 1.63 million doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccination due to reports of contamination. The country's health ministry said that foreign materials were found in at least 390 doses or 39 vials of Moderna vaccine, and that came from 8 different vaccination sites. So, Takeda Pharmaceutical, it's a Japanese drug maker and distributor who is distributing the Moderna vaccine in Japan, had received reports of contamination from multiple vaccination sites. It's a substance that reacts to magnets. It could be metal, a ministry official reported. The reports of contamination involve a batch that has a total number of 565,400 doses. So that's a lot. And did they administer these into people already? Unfortunately, they did, and there's no adverse side effects yet. So this could be anything from just like filth or some grainy contaminant or whatever. But how many times have we seen in mass medical factories? And we're going to go over it from Bayer to other companies that make like Tylenol and Mylanta and so many different things where they found, metal shavings and contamination in their stuff. I mean, it even goes as far as to show how Bayer had HIV-infected blood that they used for transfusions, which aided, if not started, and really pushed the whole 80s AIDS epidemic. Insane. So the 3 batches altogether contain 163 million vaccine doses. So the officials said there's an unknown number of doses from the infected lot that have been administered, but there have been no reported adverse effects. And this is something from Moderna right here. Moderna confirms having been notified of cases of particulate matter being seen in drug product vials of COVID-19 vaccine. Moderna said in a statement, "The company is investigating the reports and remains committed to working expeditiously with its partner, Takeda, and regulators to address this." Now, you can go over the rest of the article by yourself, but there's one other thing I do want to note down here is, so supposedly, out of the population, about 50% of the population has received at least 1 dose. And it's about that percentage here in America, too. It's about half. Everyone who wanted has already taken it. And then this is the original article here. And this is something I just want to show real quick is the Latina media. And this is a Spanish media site that does the news. And no wonder why a lot of minorities aren't taking this vaccination. It's like they get the news too, and they understand what's going on. They get real news, as opposed to, corporations who need to just glorify things and romanticize stuff in order to make money off their product. And now we have the Pfizer Recall, an anti-smoking drug, Chantix. Chantix due to cancer-causing chemical. 12 lots. Pharmaceutical giants Pfizer recalling 12 lots of its popular anti-smoking drug because it contains high levels of a chemical that may cause cancer. I mean, that's the gist of it. You can go right in the link below and check these out. And if you don't believe that right offhand and you don't like New York Post, well, guess what? It's backed up by the FDA right here. So this is the FDA website right here. And they even have the lab reports and stuff. And then here's the Pfizer recall. So Pfizer issues a voluntary nationwide recall. Look, Food and Drug Administration. Check out the website right there, fda.gov. So just so you know. So the company announced its voluntary recall, and now here it says 2 lots. Did it say 2 lots in the other one too? 12 lots. So the announcement date and the publishing date. So they published this a few days after they announced it. Insane. So you can check that out. And now we have some Johnson & Johnson, just to go over this. It's like these are the companies that are making all these vaccines. So you know. Started off with the Moderna right here. And then we went to the company Pfizer. That's having cancerous recalls. And then we go to Johnson & Johnson. And they just, in the last year, they've had multiple recalls and lawsuits paid out. For the opioids that were going around, they had to pay a class action lawsuit for what was asbestos in their baby powder. And their talcum powder was causing ovarian cancer. What is going on here? People are trying to poison our stuff. Asbestos doesn't just find its way into baby powder. They want little babies to get mesothelioma and cancer and other things going on. It's what do you put baby powder on? Babies. It's what is going on here? And women are usually mothering their kids, and so they're going to be infected. Or affected, I should say. It's really, really crazy. So here's recalls that they went through. So Johnson & Johnson already had a recall on their COVID-19 vaccination. I don't know if you guys remember that, months back. And then we scroll down, and there's the history there, and then subsidiaries. So these are all smaller companies under the umbrella. Johnson & Johnson products, and they have a whole bunch of different products from replacement limbs and implants and all sorts of stuff. And then these are notable Johnson & Johnson recalls, and it goes all the way back to 1982. But there's more than that, too. These are just the notable ones, they say. And so it goes all the way up to 2019, and they don't have the newest ones in here, it looks like. In 2020 and 2021, they just had another lawsuit. This stuff is crazy. So the FDA found small amounts of asbestos, a known carcinogen, in baby powder. Spread of uterine cancer, rapid progression of the disease, and death. So what was this? What the hell is this? Power more cellulators. Surgical instrument used in less invasive abdominal procedures. Where the public can be responsible for spreading uterine cancer. These are surgical instruments. Surgical instruments used for gynecological procedures. How do things like this happen? Think about that. Tool doctors use, tissue into smaller ones. So it's these, that's insane. So these surgical tools they use to cut out and cut up pieces of skin are causing cancer in women. They have mold on their stuff, tiny particles of plastic, and ibuprofen for infants. Liquid. particles of plastic in liquid bottles for infants. That can end up anywhere in their body. It's like they're just trying to... This is insane. Pro-lift kit, sorry, but still. You can only guess what that's for, right? And now for perforation of organs, vaginal bleeding, and scarring. Perforating internal organs. That sounds really good. Metal poisoning in the implants. Tylenol laced with potassium cyanide. 1982, they were giving out Tylenol with cyanide in it. Cyanide. That's one of the deadliest chemicals to humans. This is the stuff. This is Johnson & Johnson. And then you have the people out there who go and take this vaccine without even thinking. It's like these are perfect examples why I'm not doing it. This has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. This has to do with logic and your own health and making your own decisions. And these are verdicts that they settled on. And there's a lot more than that, too. The talcum powder caused them to develop mesothelioma, right there. And then they give out like big lump sums, then they reduce it. I've seen one that was multi-billion, and then they reduce it down to like a couple million. It's like, this is how they do it. They don't care. They can pay out millions of dollars because they're making billions. It's worth it for them. It's like, you know, you have to spend money to make money. That's what these corporations are doing, and they're just making people sick because of negligence. A lot of it's negligence, too. You know, some of it might even be on purpose, I bet. You know, and then you have the Pfizer recalls. Thermocab, back pain, high cell temperature due to presence of particulate matter. So that's not the first time. So some of these other companies, too, are doing it. Sodium bicarbonate injection due to the presence of particulate matter. Pfizer issues a voluntary nation consumer recall of Thermocat. Okay, potential skin because it's getting too hot. That's just stupidness. So we have voluntary recall of daptomycin for injection, powder for solution due to infusion reactions. A syringe system due to potential presence of particulate matter. Interesting. There's a lot of particulate matter problems going on. Really weird. Due to the potential for empty or cracked glass vials. Due to the potential of cracking glass. So they're even using cheap glass. Sulfate tablets due to possible potent and superpotent tablets. Due to the lack of sterility assurance in the sterile water injection for injection. So these are all things that people are like injecting. A lot of these, seems like the most harmful ones are all the injections. And these are the same company that's making mass injections. So let's see. So this is Pfizer here. And we just went over a bunch. There's probably more. Particulate matter, right? Here's another one. Particulate matter due to the injection. I think I'm onto something here. Chlorine due to lack of sterility. Potassium sulfate due for lack of, okay. More particulate matter over here in 2017. Injections. Particulate matter in a single vial. Particulate matter. It's 2016, 2017. Presence of particulate. All these injections. Presence of particulate. Incorrect barcode labeling on the primary container. Ugh. That's crazy. Recall. Injectable products due to particulate matter. Presence of particulate matter. Due to possible mislabeling. That's really crazy. Non-sterility in injection bags. So this is Pfizer, and what is this? Moderna is having particulate matter in their stuff. Interesting. Intentional or not intentional? Interesting stuff. So that's Pfizer. And then we go into the Bayer. So this is some of their history. Oh, they have Nazi connections too, huh? Interesting. Parent company built a plant at Auschwitz and used prisoners for slave labor. So Bayer, that's another Nazi company. World War II. The company had extensive ties to the Third Reich. Interesting. Lawsuits and settlements. Looks like a lot of stuff with women involved. Increased death or other serious injuries. I mean, you guys can go through this yourself. I'm just showing you that, and this is just some of them. I'm sure you could find more online. So these are like the major companies right here that we're going over, and we're seeing really crazy stuff and how dangerous. Now, we can argue and debate and search more into if these are if it's just negligence, and negligence alone should be something that should just shake your confidence in the company anyway. It's like, just because they're supposed to be for medical stuff means what? That you have to believe them and you have to trust them? It's like, I've seen no reason why I should trust any of it. People have to realize too, a lot of these medical procedures and drugs and stuff like that are all new. They're relatively new within the last 100 years, And a lot of this is experiments. Just because we have microscopes and vials doesn't mean that we've solved it all. I think it's really dangerous to just jump up at a whim and just say, yeah, you'll take something, or you'll do what someone says or a company says, or whatever the case is. So obviously it's probably best to ask your doctor. I have to say that, but think about this. It's like, even if you go and your doctor does say something, it's like, can you really even trust what you're gonna get? It's really crazy. It really is. Scary stuff. So now let's go down to, we got that out of the way. We went over a bunch of different companies. We went over about how unsafe and unsanitary a lot of it is. We've gone about old recalls to new recalls that are happening, including the Moderna vaccination, and pieces of metal and particulates and contamination in their vials. And so now let's go to how effective is it after all that? How effective is it? So it turns out that Israel's Pfizer Covid vaccine is just 39% effective as Delta spreads, but still prevents severe illness. There's some things that we need to go over, we need to talk about here too. The whole Delta thing. The whole thing where their tests can't even detect if it's Delta or not. There's so many questions and loose ends with a lot of stuff that's going on. And a lot of people don't realize the very simple, basic concepts of how vaccines work, how people get infected, how those infections spread, how they don't spread. Think about this in relative to the flu, how the flu, mutates constantly. But a lot of those vaccinations are still just experimental, and some of them don't even work. Anytime I've ever gotten a flu shot, and I've only had maybe 2 or 3 in my life, I think somewhere about there. I think maybe 2-3 times tops that I've had the flu shot in my life. I've gotten the flu from it. It's like, when I don't get injections, I don't get it. Have I gotten sick before? Yeah, I've gotten sick before. But everybody does. That's part of life, and that's what's supposed to happen to make your body stronger. You don't have to be convinced, because this is what they're going to start doing too. They're going to make people at any chance of any kind of infection or anything, people are going to become hypochondriacs. And they're going to think that it's the worst thing, and they're going to be so scared that they run and jump to them. And that's the whole point of these companies doing all this stuff. So the vaccinations, Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID vaccine is just 39% effective in Israel, where the Delta variant is dominant strain, according to a new report. The dominant strain. And they don't even really know, because the only way to supposedly do these tests and find out what variant it is by doing genetic code sequencing. Like, a regular test doesn't detect any of this. So a lot of it is just like, and in my opinion, just like I don't know, just panic. It's just people panicking. There's some things I don't want to say here on this. Because YouTube's going to come for me. Even though I'm going to post this, I'm posting this on other sites too. So, whatever, man. And this is NBC. This is a left-wing website. And then we're going to go to this. So, Israel confirms vaccine less effective against Delta variant. And this is basically the same thing. You can go over this. You know, they're basically saying the same thing here. They're just saying how they've used it and a certain percentage got doses, and it doesn't seem to be as effective anymore because people started getting other variants. And then now we end up with this guy. This guy, the Pfizer CEO, is saying that you're going to need it every year. Longer-term fight against coronavirus. We'll probably have to get vaccinated against COVID regularly, similar to the way people get an annual flu shot. Yeah, if this doesn't make your skin crawl, I don't know what is. Think about this. How much money are they getting through this? And they're telling people now that they have to, in order for it to be effective, you might as well, like, what's the point of taking it? You know, this is all going to be my opinion now. What is the point of taking it if it's not going to do anything and has a terrible efficiency rate? People are getting contaminated from it, and contaminants are being found in it. It's only 39% effective. And now they're saying you're going to need it at least once a year? That's probably multiple times, because they're telling people they need like a booster shot every 6 months. Can't people tell that they're just like farming people at this point? Like, where does it have to go for people to realize or think that enough is enough? Like, when does it end? I literally called this over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now, where I said this is going to be forever. This is not something I have my old videos. You can go back to my other videos and I've said this. I made a video about it, how it's never going to end. And all they're doing is proving me correct. You know, I keep calling the shots before they even get around to them. It's crazy. And this is what they're going to do. And they're going to make people so scared and paranoid that anytime they get sick, they're going to think they have this. And they're going to have to go get tested, which is more money too. And they're going to have to go get vaccinated. You have to stay vaccinated. And what are they going to do on the other side, the people that choose not to? Because they can't force people to take vaccinations. That's illegal. They're going to make it harder and harder for people to actually do anything with their lives. As if they're like your parents, or they're God, or something else. You know, the government is supposed to be run by the people, not to run the people. And that's the problem here. And this is, it's like, and this is where I think it's going. In my opinion, I think that all of this was planned, designed. How much of the spread, who knows? I mean, it's kind of weird how Bill Gates and a bunch of other people from like WHO and around the world did that whole, what if a coronavirus gets out? And then they had that whole pre-pandemic game thing going on that was broadcast, and they have video of it to go over. And then right after that, this happens. You know, it's getting so weird. Now there's like contaminants and all sorts of weird stuff, and people were getting like, think about that. People were getting like, it's just so crazy. I have so much to say. I have so much to say that I feel like I can't say a lot of it here on this. Maybe I'll make a different video and put it on other websites and not YouTube. But think about what's going on here. Do people really think that these medical companies care about them at all? Do they really think that this is for their health? Do they really think that? Like, who thinks these things? I want to know who. Does anybody in the comments section want to, talk about how they feel about it and what's going on here? I mean, I know a lot of my comments, they immediately get like silenced and hidden and taken down, and I can't even see them or delete them or anything. I just see that it's so weird. People mess with my channel, and I can tell. It's like, look what's going on here, man. I think I might make a separate video on how I feel and where I think all this is going. I mean, if you watch all my videos, I think you can pretty much piece it together yourself. But I'm going to leave all these in the comments below. Leave it at that, man. I'll talk to you soon. See you in the next video. I love you all, and stay healthy, stay well, and catch you soon. See you later.